Hi, this is Karin from the Huntley Library, and today I'm going to show you how you can make your own marble magnets. So we're going to gather some supplies and we'll get started.
Okay, here are some supplies that you're going to need, or some supplies that you can use. Lots of these are optional, so it's kind of whatever you have around your house. But the one thing you are going to need are these glass stones or glass pebbles. They often sell these in like the floral department of craft stores, or you could get aquarium stones. The important part is to have a flat bottom so that you can glue something to it, uh, and kind of a dome top, which will magnify whatever you happen to put on the other side. So you'll need however many of these that you want to make magnets. I have a little bag here so I can make a whole bunch of magnets if I want to. You will need some kind of magnet. These are some that I bought from Michael's, but you can get them at many other places. I think you can get them, I've seen them at Walmart too, so there's all different kinds of options for magnets, and they don't have to be circular like this. They could be some other kind. You might have gotten like a magnet in the mail or something from your realtor or some other place that you don't need. You can cut that up and use that as a magnet and glue that on to the back instead. If you want to make a glittery magnet, you can use glitter or glitter glue. I'm going to use some nail polish to do a glittery one. You can also draw a picture, so you'll need some kind of paper. You can use this kind of paper. The thinner the paper you use, the more chances that the glue will get it wet and your design may bleed a little bit. So you might want to use a thicker paper if you want your design to be exactly what you put down on the paper. Or you could use colored pencil to draw your design. That'll keep it from bleeding. I'll show you some examples in just a minute so you can see what I'm talking about. Let's see. I have scrapbook paper, which is really great. If you have some with like a smaller design on it, you can cut out a circle. We have a little circle punch at the library, so I use that to make these little circles. And they're a little bit smaller than the glass, but it still looks good when you put it underneath. It gets a little bit magnified, like I was saying. So when you're cutting your shape, you can just trace around the outside of your glass stone if you want to get it to fit really perfectly. You may have to make some adjustments when you're doing it. And then you're going to need some kind of glue. So whatever you happen to have around the house you can use, and some scissors to cut your paper if you're going to make a paper backing for your magnet. Here are some of the examples that I made, and I'll just talk you through them. This one I did with nail polish, and I used, come on, focus, two different kinds of nail polish. One was just sort of a glittery nail polish, and I put that on first, and I did about 3 coats of that, letting them dry in between. And then I also did a coat of, a couple of coats of a darker, more opaque nail polish. So that's what that looks like over the glitter on the back. And then if you wanted to, if your nail polish is still a little bit translucent and you want it to pop more, you can put a black background. You can paint something black or dark on the back of this too, just to make that really, really pop. So that's the nail polish one. This one I drew a picture just on like notebook paper with a ballpoint pen of my 3 rabbits, and I just glued it to the back here, and you can see that it got a little bit wet from the glue, so it bled a little bit, but I don't mind how that looks. I think that looks pretty good. So you can use regular notebook paper for that. These 2 were from scrapbook paper that I made little circles from. So that was pretty easy to do, and all you have to do is glue those on the back like so. And then this little sunshine I got from a card that someone sent me. I just cut out the sunshine part. You can see in this one that there's kind of a crack in the glass. So if you're going to want to examine your stones kind of carefully. So if you don't want that to show up on your stone, find one that doesn't have a crack right in the center of it, and then it'll look a little bit better. So those are my examples, and now I'll just walk you through the steps of how you make one. Okay, so I'm going to do a nail polish one first, and I have this sort of dark blue glitter nail polish, and then I have a lighter blue, more opaque polish that I'm going to use. And I'm going to put several coats on here. Oops. Because it takes several coats to get the nail polish to, the glitter in the nail polish to really build up there. As you can probably see, there's not a whole lot of glitter just yet. And this, I'm painting the flat side of the glass stone. Depending on how fast drying your nail polish is, this could take about 20 minutes to do. So I'm going to put this off to the side and let it dry a little bit, and I'll paint a few more coats later, and we'll do a different glass stone. Okay, so here's our next one that we're going to get started, and just open up your glue. I'm going to use one of the circles that I cut out from the scrapbook paper, and you want to get a good amount of glue on here so that the paper really sticks to this. And it's okay if you have extra that's leaking out over the edges. It's going to be completely dry when you put the magnet on the back. And then we can just put that in the center there, and you can flip it over and see if you like how it's positioned. And then I recommend that since there's probably some extra glue around the edges here, that you dry this upside down. And you're going to want to wait for that glue to dry, so maybe an hour for the glue to dry, depending on what kind of glue you have. And then you can add the magnet, gluing that on top of there. Okay, let's see. Okay, I'm going to show you one more example. So here I just have a piece of notebook paper that I pre-cut into a circle, just freehand with my scissors. Let's do a snail for this one. I like drawing snails. Here are some eye stalks. Here's the snail's body and foot. We'll give him a little smile, and then a shell. Little spiral. Can you tell it's a snail? Go a little further. And maybe some stripes on the shell. Is that all in the shadow of my hand? So there's my little snail. And I'll make some shadow underneath the snail. You can also print off a picture of whatever from the internet or something, or if you have some artwork saved. I'm just going to trim this a little bit more. Hopefully it fits better with my glass stone. Okay, let's see. I'm not really sure I can tell that's a snail, but that's what we got. I think it needs to be a little bit more trimmed up here, so I'm actually going to take it off the bottom because I have a little bit of blank paper there, or a little bit more than I do at the top. Okay, how about now? Yep, that fits better. Okay, so apply your glue. A good amount of glue again. And then your design. And you can flip it over and make sure you like how it's positioned before you let it dry. Make sure that you've got it pretty flat on there so you don't have any bubbles, or you'll be able to see that underneath the glass when it's dry. Okay, so that one we're going to let dry too. So while my other magnets are drying, I'm going to add magnets to the glass stones that I made before. They didn't have magnets. You probably noticed that when I showed you the examples. So these are pretty heavy, and if you use smaller ones, you might be able to use a magnet like this, or it might hold up if you cut a piece that's big enough. And see how that really makes that gold pop with the black background? Wow. Yep, so you can cut a piece that's big enough, and hopefully that will be enough to hold it. If it doesn't, then use a stronger magnet. And I'm just cutting a general circle around my glass stone here. I've got a little bit extra there, so I'll cut a little bit more off. Okay, and then I'm going to apply my glue to this side of the magnet. Come on. If my glue will come out of here, remind me to put the glue bottle on its side so that it's ready to go. Again, you can use a lot of glue because you really want that to stick well. Okay, I'm going to let that dry over there. And the same, you're going to do the same thing for all the other ones. Apply some glue, and then I'm going to use the smaller but stronger magnets for this one. And if you find that your regular arts and crafts glue isn't working, you can use something stronger, or you could use a hot glue gun, and that might keep it on there a little bit better. And you can put these on your fridge or locker or whatever metal surface you have that they'll stick to. If you don't have magnets, you can just use them as little paperweights, or you can turn them into like a cabochon. If you get like a little metal surround for them, you can turn them into a pendant and then wear them as a necklace, so that's a possibility. I'm going to finish up the nail polish one that I started and then show you how everything turned out. We are back. Here's what we've got going on. This is one of the new ones, the snail, which actually looks slightly more like a snail now that the color has bled into it. And I let these sit overnight to dry completely. This one was super pretty until I put the magnet on, and I guess the nail polish wasn't completely dry on the back, because now you can see where the glue and the nail polish kind of come together there. So I would recommend really letting if you do nail polish, do use it, let it dry really, really well before you add your magnet. Or use one like this one where it covers the whole back of it, and maybe there'll be less chance of it moving around. When I was drying these two, the ones with these really strong magnets on them, they attracted each other and then pulled the magnets off, so be careful, dry them further apart maybe, so that you don't have that problem and have to reseat them. But otherwise, I'm pretty happy with how they turned out. I hope yours work really well for you too.
Thanks for joining me today. I hope you had fun making marble magnets and that yours turned out great. For more fun activities and videos from the Huntley Library, please check out our website, www.huntleylibrary.org. See you later.